Hey everybody, it's Archie Roach back at my kitchen table on our YouTube journey through Charcoal Lane, the album, and a very important, in fact, one of the most important people uh, around that album, or helped make this album a reality, is my next guest today is Mr. Michael Gudinski.
I've been fortunate enough to be part of the journey throughout, to be honest with you. And it's obviously as the head of the Mushroom Group. It goes way back to, I think, Gerard, who was an agent at Premier at the time, was very, very keen and supportive, and was for many years and still is of you. And you were on a show with Paul Kelly, and I've listened to a couple of your chats that you've been doing, and I found it quite amazing that you didn't know who Paul Kelly was, but you certainly knew who his songs were. And Paul Kelly was a major influence in a number of artists, but particularly you. And Steve Conley, who passed away very, very young, we had the greatest respect for, and he was as involved in that album as Paul, with yourself. And I remember the genuine excitement when Simon B, Eleanor, a number of people that were, when that album came in, it was a very emotional album for you, obviously. It was, as it turns out, it's a historic album that's relevance is more than ever. As I heard today on Radio National, they played Down City Streets, which was written by your late and great wife, I believe.
That's right.
It's been a long journey, a journey of people around me that have really, really loved being part of it. Pierre Baroni, I remember he'd been in our art department for a few months, and he did that amazing cover, which to this day, you know, we miss it. It's great that vinyl's back in action because you can touch it and feel it.
Exactly.
So Aurora Records was one of our labels, and it's been and there's still a bit to come, but it's been an amazing journey for yourself on every level, health-wise. Everything we've felt with you, with Ruby. You've had two amazing women, apart from your late wife, around you, being both your managers. That Jill Shelton, if she was here, she knows it. I only haven't shaved because of lockdown in Melbourne, but I would give Jill the biggest hug, mate. She's an absolute partner of yours for forever. Anyway, so I do remember a lot about it, and boy, it's come a long way.
Yeah. Look, I remember the early days. You know, at Albert Park there. Well, you know, going up to and talking to Simon B and Eleanor back in the day. And getting up and meet you the first time. Well, I hadn't met you. I'd heard about you, but hadn't really met you until the ARIAs, when Charcoal Lane got that ARIA award for best Indigenous album and also best new talent. So, and I met you on.
I was pretty emotional that night for you, mate. It was. I had dropped into a meeting or two in our famous boardroom down the stairs, and I loved the thing you wrote in the book, which is so true about me. You loved the passion, but you couldn't understand half of what I said. So I've always had a pretty husky voice, but it really, I know how much it meant to you and how much it meant to the community, but what it meant to the people around you. Not just the people that were fans of that record, that people in the office, there were so many fans of the album, and they were just, so pleased. And it really would have, imagine it would have meant so much to you to see that, the whole thing become a reality that most probably was a dream, to be honest, I think. And it was great when great dreams come true, and this dream's continuing, mate, and we'll both be there to either of us drop, I could promise you.
Yeah. Look, I remember, recording the album, with Steve and Paul, in Carlton, and doing the album, and talked about Pierre before, Pierre Barani, that amazing cover that he'd done, and we had a conversation with Pierre not long ago, and just like you and me having a conversation today, and it was so good to catch up with him. And when I think of the people around us at that time, Pierre certainly was one of the people that there was a big. I don't know. We kicked it off from the start. Had a great rapport. The work that he did with us, and the album cover was just, we talked about, is brilliant. But also the ideas he's got. Hopefully we'll be able to do something again soon, before too long anyway, because.
Well, we're very keen to mostly do a special package of the whole vinyl, which could be. I've already had a bit of a chat because Warren Costello, who's your main champion, who lives and breathes you, and is more. He's a quiet bloke, opposites attract, unlike me, but his passion for you is it's much more than work for him, and he's already thinking about things that can be done. To see the accolades that you're getting are well deserved. I'm sure there's more to come, and the performances are just something that are really touching people. And I think I know it's not easy for you getting around and working, but whatever it takes to get you around, we'll keep making it happen.
Look, and the great thing about it is that, I'd like to, mention that the great support that you have been. What's Warren? Talk about Warren. He's, like you say, he's a champion. Been championing a lot of things that I'm doing, but yourself as well. About 30 years ago, Charcoal Lane. It's 30 years. We're celebrating 30 years this year of Charcoal Lane, and we've been working on a reimagining of the songs, the Charcoal Lane, the songs from Charcoal Lane. And we've done that down here in Southwest Victoria. But I'd just like people to know, that you've been a great support to me, but also as a First Nations Indigenous artist, Aboriginal artist, gave me a crack, and also Ruby as well, Ruby Hunter, Troy. So you've been a great support in supporting the First Peoples of this country to help get their music out, and I really appreciate that, Michael. Yeah.
Well, look, it's something that comes with naturally and with passion. I know Charcoal Lane in that area because before I actually started Mushroom Records, when I was about 19 or 18, I managed a band called The Chain, who were a great blues band, and they had a song called Gertrude Street Blues. Yeah. And even though I remember going to Gertrude Street, and without going into the details of why it was called Gertrude Street Blues, I'm sure you know what I'm talking about. And there was a clinic down there, and it's amazing that that whole area has become so prominent in arts and so prominent in all forms of arts. And to see you getting the respect that you've deserved more and more. And with what I've done, and I'm sure you're going to contribute more along the way because your stuff's so relevant to the music vault. Yeah. And look, the fact that you grew up in the city mainly, I think, made it was very different to say a Yothu or a Christina New. But there's been so much. It's good to see Kev Carmody getting the kudos that he's always had. I mean, Bart Willoughby, but you really stayed on a track that, being such a good writer, not just of songs, Victorian of the Year. It must give. I just feel so strongly that it's so deserved. And I think it's good to see you with a smile on your face, because it was a long road for your people, and music's been a very strong thing for your people. And you've certainly been a leader. And there was only 3 acts that sort of, one way or another, when I had to sell Mushroom Records, I kept everything else. And there was Jimmy Barnes, there was the Hunters and Collectors, and there was you, my man, that back. And I don't want to get emotional, because it is emotional for me. And it's, like I said at the start, it's a journey that's got a lot more, and the creative side's in your hands. It's ideas between Jill and the team around us, where there's quite a bit flowing, and I'm certainly in better mental shape. I've turned this very negative period from my end creatively than perhaps I was through all the great touring years of whether it's been Bruce Springsteen or whether it's been McCartney or Australian artists. But, going on the road can get you distracted from the real world. And I'm right back in the real world at the moment. And it's something that you haven't given me any hints, but have you written a bit lately?
Well, I hope to. I hope to be. It'd be good to get some more songs out there. But it's just the way it is with songwriting. It's a funny beast. But look, there's so many things we could talk about. Opening it. Some historical things. Me and Yotty Indy. Good to see you with the Yotty Indy shirt on. We first 2 Aboriginal acts ever played at Hamer Hall there, just the only, and at the Opera House back in the day. We both headlined, Yossi Indy and myself headlined the show, and it was just us at the Sydney Opera House, and that's historical. And I'd like to thank the part you played and all that. And
I remember when you were starting to tour and you hadn't done that much touring. I think there was a tour with a couple of our other acts, or Turn On the Telly, if you remember that. I think it was at Double J. I think it wasn't even Triple J back then. It was Double J, the original. And you went all over the place, and I think you started to find the art of performing live, which is, as you know, so different to writing and recording. And
it is.
I remember hearing reports of you playing all over the country, Victoria, but all over Australia on that turn. I think it was Turn Off or Turn Up Your Telly or something. Turn Off Your Telly it was.
Yeah.
And I think that was really quite early on, and the support that you had from, that's the support you had really was so strong from community radio. And still is, be it Triple R, be it PBS, be it there's Brisbane, all over the place, and those things, can play such an important role. I think we've been really working with a lot of great older artists that people could easily forget. And I know you did a thing with Vicar and Linda.
Yeah.
And I think for them at this stage of their career to get a #1 album was just so great to see. And they've now got a new album. They've really followed up quick. None of these 2 or 3 year gaps with this gospel album. And Paul Kelly again fits into the mechanics. He features on a track, and what Paul has done for other artists. I mean, how we stuck to our guns and got Channel 9 to agree to put that song, the Mother's song with Jess Hitchcock on that home front. I mean, she's another great singer, and greatness to me is great. It's great, the #1 albums and even singles, but it's careers that is something that's always been and live is something that's always been the backbone of my life. Luckily, Barnsley told me about 30 odd years ago, don't even sing in the shower. So I can't play. I had a bad music teacher. I can't play a note, which is mostly a good thing in general. I'll leave that to good, talented blokes like you. But it's just something that it's in now. It's etched in history. What you've done and what we've done, and I'm certainly like yourself. I've had a number of health issues, and you've had them, but you are so determined. And I think, like the great Frank Sinatra, will both be still doing it until they bury us, mate. I hope that's the case, and I hope it's not too soon for either of us, because in 2 years' time, not only do I turn 70, I know I was a hippie that never thought I'd live to 50. It's the 50th anniversary of Mushroom, and I know that you'll be a big part of it in a special way, and so you should be, because you've been there for more than half of my journey, and I've been there for most probably pretty much your journey. But the journey before I met you is something that we all felt and knew, and it's just so great that you've been able to move and see, brighter skies through it all. Get a bit serious here, aren't I?
No. Look, it's been fantastic talking to you, Michael, today. And I'd like to thank you for your time and all you've said. It's all important, and I'm glad you've said what you've said. It's great to be able to talk to you and reminisce, and also talk about certain issues. But like
thanks for the birthday.
Charcoal Lane, 30 years today, and it's 30 years when I went and did it, and so thank you for your time. There you go.
I didn't put that up there for today, mate. That's been sitting there in every Zoom that I've been doing through this period. And I hold it proud, mate.
All right. So look, Michael Gudinski, thank you for your time. Thanks for today. And like I say, I appreciate all that you've done for me through the years. And I'm sure that, there'll still be a few more years, like you say, we'll be still working together. So thank you very much. Good on you, Michael. Talking to us.
Trying to keep it down as it first went down in Charcoal Lane.